Hey y'all, this is Marie from our Okie homestead. I wanted to discuss these weeds and stuff a little bit more and the use of sprays, especially when it comes to those kind of weeds that your goats, sheep, cows, pigs, horses. Did I miss something? Goats, cows, sheep, pig. I think I caught most of them. It's poison, okay? Look how thick that grass is. That's that coastal Bermuda. Just vines everywhere. This was a horrible spot, and you can see how well it has come back since we sprayed it. It was full of nothing but those weeds, and the Bermuda was trying to come in, and of course the clover too, obviously, because here it is. Got all that yellow weed out of the way. And so it improved our pasture area, our grazing area. Actually, this is more of a sacrifice area, but since it's been closed off to them, it's had a chance to recover, and look how well it has recovered. Now, see, there's a little patch of it right here still, just so y'all know what I'm talking about without having to go look at another video. Really cute, pretty yellow flower weed comes in and takes over. It will absolutely, and see, they're fixing to go to seed. Now, if I come in and I brush hog right now, that would help. But actually, it's not tall enough. I wouldn't be able to get all of the flower heads, so some of it would still bloom. And so then it's going to put its seed down, and then we're going to have more. And that spreads so fast. But do you see what I'm gaining by spraying? And the spray that we used in this area is actually safe enough that within hours, once it's dry, you can turn your horses and your livestock back on it. Sometimes we have to do things we don't want to in order to get something like this that has been let go and been neglected, in order to be able to get it under control. Sometimes you might have to come in and do initial spraying to get it all knocked back to a point that you can come in and use a more natural approach. Can you imagine me getting out here? And I honestly had thought about it at one point in time. I was so upset about them yellow flowers. I thought, man, I'm about ready to get out there and pull them up by hand. You know, and this was the biggest reasoning for the goats, with goats being dual purpose animals. They're good for meat, milk, eat weeds that the horses and your cows won't eat. Dual purpose. We went a long time not having any goats on the property. That didn't help the situation at all. I feel like if you have a farm, and most especially if you're aiming for a more natural approach, if you plan on reverting to sprays like I had to, then you need to have something that's going to come in here and eat that kind of stuff. And I can tell you right now, horses won't. There's some kind of volunteer. Probably one of those little funny melon cucumber looking things. You see Google here? This is a S21. I hope y'all can see that screen. Let me walk in here in the dark so y'all know what. Okay, you see this? See the little microphone in the camera? This is a handy thing for y'all to know if you don't already know it. You can take a picture. Okay, put it on the camera. And then you can take a picture. And then it looks for your results. You don't have to go through any kind of plant app or anything, to find your results. Spiny something, I bet. Amaranth. Yeah, I agree with spiny. So yeah, that's all you have to do if you're, if you're wondering about a plant in your pasture or around your house or wherever you live. It's that easy to find out, okay? I've been telling people for a decade, between Google and YouTube, you can learn anything. So, microphone and camera. It was that simple. I'll do it again because there's one other plant that I want to ID, and it's that, it would have trouble with this one. Let's see what it tells us on this. It's going to probably tell me cucumber or squash, something like that. It's looking for results. It's trying visual matches. See, lemon cucumber. Yeah, see, it's just a wild type of cucumber. I kind of thought so, but if it's the one I'm thinking it is, then they're little round ball looking things. I don't know how they look. There's several of them out here, over by that blue trough, and right there, and right there, and here, and here. I kind of think that's 2 plants, and then there's one over there. These plants always grow on our fence line over in this other spot, between the little barn and the house. But yeah, you can see how the clover has died back, and I was looking for evidence of army worms. I'm not seeing any, and normally they would come in, they would clear out the clover and the grass too, some of the grasses. Anyway, I'm gonna do the same thing. Hit my back button, go up here to the camera. I don't know if you can see that on the Google thing, it's so bright out here. Just tap camera. Try to make sure if it's a weed or a flower. Plumera? Bitter sneezeweed, that's probably about right. Okay. Now I can read up on it and see if it sounds like that's what it is. Yeah, thread-like leaves. Okay. It's hot out there, y'all. Anyway, I was trying to ID a couple of these weeds, especially that yellow flower weed, because I want to make more yellow jackets. Yeah, this is kind of a bad spot for me. They're like everywhere here in this stall, in this shed row. No fast movements. But yeah, I am trying, y'all. I like I've said in other videos, I try to remain as organic as possible. And the yellow weed thing is an invasive thing, and it will cut out your grass, cut out your clover, and that Graze spray does kill it, along with some of the other stuff, but it doesn't kill the grass. And within hours of it drying, it's safe to put your animals back on it to graze. That's why it's called Graze on. But the whole regenerative thing, like the goats would eat that at a younger stage. They're not so happy with it when it gets to where it's flowering. It must not taste good to them. But that plant, most of it will go to flower when it's so short that you can't brush hog it down in order to control it. Now, if I got out here on this acreage on my 0 turn, I could cut it. Take me a long time to do it. I could cut it all down. Any of the flowers, it's already going to have seeds. So I'm just spreading it, doing that. So when I come in and I spray it, if I can just get it under control, that was my whole goal, was get that yellow flower weed under control, and then that way the grass will choke it out. Give the chance the grass to come back good, and the grass will choke it out. I've mentioned before, we've overgrazed. We had too many on this spot, but I couldn't just load up horses and haul them to the auction knowing that they'd probably end up on a truck to Mexico. Wasn't going to do that with mine, sorry. So, man, there's a lot of wasps in here. Yellow jackets, they're in that fan, they're on the ceiling, they're all over the place. So, anyway, sweating crazy bad sweat. It's hot. So, that's all fine and good. But when it comes to the horse nettle that's poisonous, For goats, for sheep, for cows, for horses, pigs, they won't eat it, okay? And I've looked it up, researched and everything, and it's poisonous. I mean, look. There's the poison plant right there. But I'm going to try not to touch it. See the shape of that leaf? It kind of reminds me of like a holly bush leaf, except it's not quite as pointy. And there's typically only like 2 areas that stick out, where holly leaf would have multiples. But yeah, for some reason it just kind of reminds me of a holly plant, you know, like a holly bush. But it's got these cute little flowers on there. I'm basically defending Graze on spray somewhat. And I say somewhat because if I had a choice to not spray and be able to eradicate this on our 40 acres, instead of having to go in and pulling it all up by hand, because it comes up very easy, okay? Except you see that root, there's still pieces off down in there, all right? There's another one. Here's another one. There's another one. There's another one right there by where she's eating. There's another one. There's another one. There's another one. There's another one. And another one. And another one. I'm not really seeing any that direction offhand. I see maybe 1 or 2 there. I see some more over there. Another one right there. I'm open to suggestions. If somebody has words of wisdom, oh no, wait a minute. I need that tag. I don't need you tearing up the feed sack. You gonna drive now or what? You don't need you don't need my tea. You don't need my tea. Guys, at least, have already figured out that they are not to be eating that horse nettle. So, at least I don't have to worry about that. But that's one of those weeds that, hey, don't chew my shirt. Don't chew my shirt. Out of the gator. You need to get out of the gator. Yeah, go join your buddies. Go join your buddies, Amy. I'd be real happy to be able to eradicate that stuff and not have to be spraying a bunch of poison. So if anybody's got some kind of homeopathic recipe that actually kills that stuff, as good as that Graze on, which like I said is not the best stuff, but it will help you get it under control, where then maybe you can come in and get some other, get your grasses to kind of overtake it, because as long as you got grass going good, those weeds have a harder time coming in and trying to take over. So I'm open for suggestions, y'all. But y'all have a good one.